welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and we're standing up today for monthly Manga Monday. And in this video, if you are new, I go over all the manga, light novels, and associated things I have read in the previous month. So this is everything that I have read in August. It's a pretty good list, I have to say. And I did manage to get to at least 2 light novels. I did not finish one of them, I will admit. I DNF'd I Shall Survive Using Potions. It just wasn't working for me, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. But I did finish The Flower of Happiness, which is the first Demon Slayer light novel. Now these aren't directly written by the same author as our, right here, our beloved manga series, but they are like edited and approved by her. And I really loved this. I was a little worried knowing that it wasn't the same author, that perhaps the magic, the characters that we knew in the series wouldn't be the same here, right? Another writer wouldn't be able to pull it off. But I actually really ended up enjoying it, and I think that the writer really managed to capture the characters. I don't have their name written down, and the other 2 volumes are upstairs, or I would tell you what their name is. You'll see it here. But I think they really managed to capture the characters really well. We really got, you know, the root of what made them them. You know, Inosuke is still the way he is. Zenitsu is still very sweet and in love with Nezuko, but a little over the top and crazy. And Tanjiro has that heart of gold that we know and love. So I liked this one. This takes place, if I'm correct, right around the Mugen Train arc or right after that. I can't remember if this is the one that takes place right after Mugen Train or if this takes place the first time they're at the Wisteria house patching up after a big event. It's been a month since I read it, but I do recommend picking it up. If you are a Demon Slayer fan, if you want to try light novels out, this one's really fun. Most of these stories take place around that time, but the last story is Kimetsu no Hi, or however they're going to pitch that and run it, the high school like fanfiction-y AU of Demon Slayer. It was super cute. I really liked how the Heishira were teachers, and you know, oh, it was good. I do recommend it. If you're a fan, definitely try it out. I have 2 more volumes, and the actual high school full volume light novel collection is coming out, I think, in a month or 2, and so I will get that and read that as well. But it was quirky, it was funny, it was refreshing, and it was really nice to just get back to Demon Slayer after having finished the series so long ago and not having, you know, read much of it since. I loved it. I can't see you not enjoying it, but you'll probably enjoy it. Those were the only light novels I got to. I will add, I am still reading Stars of Chaos by Priest. This is Danmei. I'm about halfway through it. I am liking it, but it is not grabbing me in the way that others have grabbed me. It's a little more complicated. The tone is a little more serious, but I am enjoying it. The mechs are very different, and I like that. It's a different flavor to the world, let's say. But I'll have more on that next monthly wrap up. You'll see more of Stars of Chaos. For the actual manga that I have read, I read 3 volumes of Assassination Classroom, so I'm up to volume 11. I still am really enjoying this, and it's slowly seeming to get darker in some of the plots for me, but that's okay. I expect that, especially since we're getting closer and closer to, you know, deadline. We're getting closer and closer to Koro Sensei destroying the earth or not, and it's paced really well. I feel I'm having a good time with it. The stories are at turns hilarious, and also, you know, reminding you that mortality, somebody is going to die, or a lot of somebodies is going to die. Whatever happens, it's doing its job well, it's paced out well, and I'm liking it. I am hoping to read 12 this weekend. I want to read it before the end of the month, mostly because I already put the cover in my planner for this month, and I don't want to have to print it and put it in the next section. But I'll read 12 for sure, and hopefully read the next 3 or 4 volumes before next month's wrap up. I still say, if you're interested in the series, please give it a try. It's about Koro Sensei, who comes to Earth and he's going to destroy the Earth, but he's given humanity a year, and in a year's time he wants to be a teacher. So he's going to be a teacher to a class in Japan, and that becomes Assassination Classroom. These kids are tasked with killing him before the year is out. So half of their school year is just school, and the other half is learning to be assassins, and that is fantastic. Also, can I add, Karma is still unhinged and I still adore him. He's still my favorite. I really, really like him. I caught up on Emikoi, so I'm all done with Emikoi till the next volume comes out. That is volume 6. Emikoi is the story of what happens after a confession, so it's following a couple as the girl confesses and they begin to date and how they, you know, their relationship develops. We are now moving into the secondary characters' relationship, and I am very interested in where this goes. This is going to be a series you'll probably see me collect. I'm going to put it on my shelves because I think 7, 8, and 9 are all up for pre-order, or just 7 and 8. And I intend to get to them. I'm very interested to see how her best friend, well, she's not really her best friend, but her close friend and his best friend slowly come together, because their dynamic is very different. But again, a series I have been reading. I've talked about it in previous videos. I do recommend you pick up if you have not. If you like a good love-based, what am I trying to say? If you like a good romance manga, this is one to try. I'm trying to get through these single volumes because I read a lot of Rumiko Takahashi's work, and I'm gonna do that last. So I did read 1 volume of Black Clover. I love it. I love Black Clover. I've been reading it slowly. I need to just like plow through a bunch of it because I know that it's slowing down and it's reaching like big climaxes are coming up, and the series is going to be ending soon. But volume 20 is still in the climax of the first big arc with the elves. Black Clover is set in a world where you are given a grimoire at a certain age, and that grimoire determines the level of power you have and the types of power you have. Most people have a 3-leaf clover grimoire and the associated powers, but you can also have a 4-leaf clover grimoire. And one of our characters has a 4-leaf clover grimoire, and one of our characters doesn't really have one. He has no magic. And it is their story as they compete to become the Wizard King, and things just go to pieces in the Clover Kingdom. Lots of action, lots of cool powers, lots of cool abilities. Asta is a cinnamon roll. I love him. Yuno is our super powerful king, and it's okay. But this arc is wrapping up. We're getting to a conclusion. We're starting to see people pop off. We got to see, I think her name is Dorothea, the sleeping team captain. She wakes up for this big fight, and oh my god, she's not what I expected. I loved her. Fantastic character. What was the Peacocks, maybe? If I can remember right. I can never keep all the different squads, their names correct. I'll see if I can get a picture of her here. She was not what I expected, and I loved every moment of seeing her, so I'm very excited to get more. I also picked up the first volume of Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle as a sort of like random read. I wish I could tell you why I picked this up, but this is about a sleepy princess in a demon castle. I cannot tell you how accurate to the title this story is. This is set in the Kingdom of Goodrest, and in the Kingdom of Goodrest, humans and demons lived side by side peacefully for many, many moons until the Demon King came and he decided he wants to rule. So he kidnapped Goodrest's princess, Princess Silas, I think is how you would say her name, and she is trapped in his castle. And she just wants to go to sleep. She just wants to get a good night's sleep. She's not gotten a good night's sleep in the time she's been in the castle, and this story is just her finding ways to get a good night's sleep. In the first story, she makes a pillow, and then she makes blankets, and she makes a fabric crown instead of a hard crown, because the hard crown makes her head hurt and it leaves an indentation on her skin when she sleeps with it, because all she wants to do is sleep. That's it. That's the story so far. She's just causing chaos doing this. The problem is that to, say, make the sheet, she needed scissors and she needed fabric. So she stole a dude's, like she didn't steal it. This is the guy, I think she bribed him into giving her scissors off of his arm because he had scissor arm. I can't see if there we go. Like chaos. And then she takes giant scissors and she just hunts demons or monsters that have fabric, like capes. Or at one point, she snips a ghost. She snips a ghost. And it's just that sort of thing. That's the whole of this first volume. I read it on the Viz app, and I happened to find this at the used bookstore. I lucked into that. So I picked it up because It's ridiculous. This is the type of low chill manga I adore. I love this sort of low stakes, just funny, ridiculous humor. I tried the first episode of the anime. Again, if you're new here, I don't watch a lot of it. I have a bad attention span when it comes to shows, but I did watch the first episode of the anime one night, and I enjoyed it very much. So I will probably continue watching this when I have time, and I'm not watching something else like Black Clover or Spy Family. But this was great. If you have looked at it, you don't understand what it's about. It is about a sleepy princess in a castle. She just wants to sleep. Someone please let her sleep. And the nonsense that she gets up to. At one point, she breaks a shield. That's the only way for the adventuring party that's coming to save her. It's the only way for them to get past a certain point, and she doesn't know that. She just sees a shield that pushes out wind, and she's like, I can use that. I can use that to make a wind bed. And she breaks it, and it's just, the absurdity is fantastic. So I do recommend, if you like low stakes comedy sort of style mangas. I do know that there is a ton of these out now. I think it's like maybe close to 20. There's like 300 chapters on the app. I don't know if it will hold water that long, but this volume was great. I enjoyed a first volume of it. I will continue trying out the chapters on the app until I get bored of it. It's fun, so why not? The other single volume that I read the new Junji Ito, the Suichi volume. This just came out last month. This is another one of his collections, the collections you can see right here. And this collects just the Suichi stories. So these are the stories that follow Suichi, this little kid who has nails in his mouth and he's like constantly spitting them out. He is a creepy little turd. If you don't like the collections that are kind of, they don't interconnect very strongly, this is a skip. These don't keep a meta plot thread through them like say Uzumaki or Gyo or any of those. This is short story collections. They do all feature Soichi, and there is a sort of timeline to them. A lot of these stories are told from his cousin's perspective as they visit each year, but they are not a solid thread story. And if you've watched the Junji Ito anime, a lot of these, if not almost all of them, are in the anime. So we've got the puppet teacher, you've got the one in the forest where he gets trapped by the woodsman, and a few others that I vaguely recall, I think, seeing in the anime. So this is not a big meta plot one. This is one that's just a bunch of short stories, even though they feature the titular character Soichi. I love Soichi. Soichi was my introduction to Junji Ito. I have a very soft place in my heart for Soichi. Creepy little turd he is. And my husband and best friend also like Soichi. I have his Funko Pop somewhere. I don't know where he's gone. Oh, he's over here. I hid him from my toddler. It was one of the few Funko Pops that I have bought myself because I love Soichi. So like I said, recommended for people who like Soichi, who like the short story collections, but if you just like the ones with the plot that goes all the way through, this is a skip. But besides that, it's fantastic. Most of these were funny, but there were one or two that were actually genuinely like, what? Coming in? Not many though. Soichi is more of a funny character for Junji Ito, for me, I think, than anything. It's not like Tomie. Tomie freaks me out a little bit. So Soichi was good for the short story fan, if you are one of them. And I believe, put that down, I believe that's everything I read except for the Rumiko Takahashi books. Let me double check my listing here. Yes, it is. I read Mermaid Saga 1 and 2, and then I also read Mason Ikoko. I don't know how to say that quite. My Japanese is so rusty. I don't know how to say that correctly. It's been like 5 years since college. Don't have me. So Mermaid Sagas Volume 1 and 2, I think, is the series as it stands. I don't know if there's any more to it. I wish there was. And this is the story of a young man who has eaten mermaid flesh, and that flesh makes him immortal. He is on a quest to fix his immortality. He does not want to be immortal. And he arrives at this village in time to save Mana, I think would be how you would say her name. She is a young woman that's bitch, attempting to escape. We'll say attempting to escape this village. And it's these stories of Yuta, that's his name, Yuta and Mana, as they travel over Japan and through time to try and figure out and solve his immortality and her immortality, because she does become immortal over the course of the stories. And it's about, the themes in this one were really interesting to me. It's the sort of things people will do to stop age, like seeking immortality, how to live forever, what would you do to do that? And then once you have that, once you are immortal, what toll does that take on you? What toll does it take on your sanity? What happens to you at that point? They meet people who have eaten the flesh and they are not quite right in the head, and then they find people who have driven themselves mad attempting to get the flesh, and some suspect, let's say, methods to acquire or work around it. It was really good. It's of its age, so this is an older manga. I think this was written perhaps in the 80s or 90s. So if you don't like the older stuff with the tones, you know, the panty shots and all that stuff, I know a lot of younger readers don't enjoy that. This might be a skip, but I really liked it. This was a really interesting and very fun collection. I was flipping through this really quick. I blazed through these because I really wanted more. And when it ended, there's not really a clear ending to this series. I was very disappointed. Honestly, I really wanted more of it. If any more Mermaid Saga ever comes out, I will pick it up. I will read it. This may be one again that I collect because I liked it so much, and I really love Rumiko Takahashi's art. It's very nostalgic for me. When I was first getting into manga and anime, it was Ranma Half was a big thing. So I love seeing her artwork. And I also picked up, like I said, Meson Ikoku, again, rusty. Don't know how to say that quite correctly. And I just read the first collection of this. It's about 400 pages. I think this collects the first 2 or 3 volumes of this, and it is just a rom-com. More of a com than a rom right now. But it is about a boarding house, and the character names are escaping me, so I apologize. But the main female character is taking over as the sort of manager of the boarding house, and it's her interacting with all the characters, and the male main character is the Ronin of the boarding house, right? He is trying to get accepted into colleges. He's constantly taking collegiate exams, and throughout the first 2 volumes, he is what they call a Ronin, because he's taking these courses, and he does get into a college eventually. And but they still call him the Ronin. And their relationship, kind of how it kind of meets, they meet and it grows. He kind of instant love, falls in love with her, but she is mourning the loss of her husband who died after 6 months of marriage. And she has a dog that she's kind of fixated on. He is her almost like trauma bonded grief dog. And it is their relationship and the people around them. This gave me almost Friends vibes. That may be sacrilegious to say, but these characters are the characters in the boarding house. There's so many of them, and they're so quirky, and the jokes and the tone, it just almost gave me that Friends sort of vibe, the TV show, which is really weird, but I really liked it. The first couple chapters have a lot of like peeking Tom aspects going on. One of the boarders likes to peek on some of the other boarders, and one of the female characters, one of the women that lives there, she's a young woman, she walks around in her like negligees and her underwear. It's that kind of humor, so go in knowing. But I enjoyed it. It was funny. It was really interesting how she set everything up, and it's a bunch of little shorts that, you know, they go in chronological order, but they're not super directly connected. The last chunk of them have to do with a tennis instructor. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's fun. Again, if you like that older style manga, if you like Rumiko Takahashi's artwork, definitely should pick it up. I will be continuing this. I think there are 2 or 3 full collections, maybe more than that. I can't recall offhand, but I'll probably keep going until I get super bored. But right now I am still enjoying it. I just finished the first collection. So definitely, I definitely recommend Rumiko Takahashi. But so far, I think my favorite so far is, how many times can I say so far? My favorite one has been Mermaid Saga. I love that. And that is it for this kind of scatterbrained monthly Manga Monday. A little all over the place today. I'm trying to think. I will probably, like I said, be reading more of Rumiko Takahashi. I don't know what had me on a kick with her work, but I just saw Mermaid Saga and decided to pick it up. And a friend of mine is also reading her work, and he has been enjoying it. So I thought, why not? And I could talk to him about it. I will most likely be... What have I got up here? I've got the Demon Slayer light novels upstairs I'm working on. I'm working on Stars of Chaos. I have this first volume of the Faraway Paladin light novel that I really want to read. I have the first three... Where are they at? Oh, they're over here. The first three manga. I need to get the next ones. I love Faraway Paladin. I'm just very behind on it, so this may get read. I also want to get back to Kuma 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 Bear. You can see I've got my little figure here. So next month I don't have any concrete plans. If you have any suggestions, especially if it's on the Viz or Shonen Jump app and I can get to it relatively for free, let me know. I will pick up stuff very easily there because I don't have to go on my way by it. But that is it. Let me know what you have read down below. Have you read any of this? What do you think? Do you like Rumiko Takahashi? I know some people aren't a fan, but I do. Like I said, art style is nostalgic, and those old school plot lines really, really hit for me. They're just nostalgic. Let me know down below, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.